Hello friends, and welcome back to the Wardenborn YouTube channel. My name is Emily and I'm here today with another summer vlog. I have a few different projects that I want to kind of talk to you about, kind of show you. It's Monday, I forgot to say that, June 29th, so we're the day before the last day in June, and I'm going to kind of talk to you about the projects I'm planning to work on this week. I'm realizing that just like I'm very much a mood reader, I'm very much a mood crafter. So oftentimes I'll be like, I'm going to work on this project, and then I'm like, actually never mind, I'm going to work on these 6 other projects. So we're all holding all of this lightly, but these are just some of the projects that I'm really itching to work on, and would love to get some progress done on this week. Well, first, before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the, I mentioned in my last vlog, if you've seen it, that I am in the process of knitting a bunch of hats for some of my nieces and nephews and whatnot. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about that here at the beginning, because I'm on my, how many have I made now? 5th hat? I think I'm on my 5th hat. So this all kind of started, I guess I'm kind of calling it my prayer hat project. It all kind of started because I knit a baby hat for my brother's little boy who was born a month ago, just about. And then I knit another one for some good friends of ours that they're having a baby in about a month. Or the due date's in about a month, but we all know the due dates are not the official when baby's arriving day. Anyway, started with that. I was working on those hats and I just started thinking about it, and with some of my health stuff that's I mentioned in my last video and whatnot, I had the thought that it would be really, really nice to make my sister-in-law and brother, they have, my brother's in the military and he is currently deployed, and they have 7 kids at home and she is pregnant with baby number 8. And of course I want to make some stuff for the baby. I haven't necessarily made much of anything for the rest of their kids when they were little, because at the time I wasn't really in the like full-on knitting crafting phase that I am now, and when they've had kids it has kind of like lined up to right around when it was like in the thick of having my own 2 children, and so I had the thought that it would be really nice to make them all a nice winter hat, all the kids. And then I expanded it to include my brother and then my sister-in-law, and I was like, okay, we'll make all of them hats. So that's 10 hats that I need. And then I was like, well, if I make all of them hats, then I kind of want to try and make my sister's boys hats. So there's 3 more hats. And then we have some good friends, and one of them is the baby's that is due later this year. They have 3 other kids. And so I was like, well, if I'm making the baby one, I would kind of like to go ahead and make the other kids one, and then we have this other family that's good friends of ours, and they have 3 kids, and so it just kept growing and growing and growing. I was like, okay, the year of the hats. And my thought was that by making all of the hats for my nieces and nephews, particularly with my brother being deployed and my sister-in-law being pregnant and everything, that it would be a really lovely thing to make the hats for them and to kind of pray for them and think about them while I'm making the hats, because that's kind of what I was doing when I was working on the stuff for my nephew that was just born, and as I was working on the stuff for the baby that's expected later, just kind of praying for my friend and her pregnancy. And she's a bit older, and she's older than me. She's not old, but she's older for having babies, and it's pregnancy at any time is hard, and when you've already got 3 kids and you're a little bit older and stuff, the older you are when you become pregnant, it does increase the potential for the possibility of there being extra difficulties, extra struggles, whether it's just mama physically, like it's a little bit harder, and so I was just praying for her and praying for the baby and just praying that everything would go smoothly and stuff, like while I was working on stuff for the baby. And I was like, it just feels so right. And so then I was just thinking about it, and I wanted to do that for my sibling and nieces and nephews and all that. So that's kind of what the prayer hat project is, and I have just been absolutely loving it. It has been the perfect, like I realized this is, a lot of people talk about socks as the mindless project. This is my mindless sock equivalent project. I have just been so enjoying it, and it has been delightful to just grab all the fun colors. So my brother and sister-in-law they have 7 kids. They've got 4 girls right now and 3 boys, and it's really fun to kind of pick out all the cute girly colors that I don't really have a need to make for kids in my life, and so that's been super fun to kind of, I get to work through these really fun girly pink and purple and everything colors, while also doing some boring ones for the boys. But yeah, that's kind of, these are going to be in the background for the next foreseeable future, because I think I calculated that up, and it was something like 20 hats. So I think I'm about 5 in, or this might be my 5th one. But yeah, it just, I was telling my husband the other day that I have really felt this like gentle nudge to, as I can, try and focus on others and other people, and you know, praying for my friend, praying for their kids, praying for my sister-in-law, praying for my brother, praying for my nieces and nephews, and to just yeah, it's just a gentle nudge to kind of pay attention to other people as well, because it can get very easy to be very hyper fixated on just my little family, which is not a bad thing. Like, that's the thing, it is very important to me to take care of my kids and my husband, but just to also be thinking and praying for other people in my family. So it's kind of a long, convoluted explanation, but expect to see lots of hats, because so far I've been able to finish them up in like 2 or 3 days a hat, just kind of working on them here and there. They're the perfect project to work on around my boys, because I don't even have to think about it, and I just knit and purl and knit and purl and knit and purl and knit and purl round and round and round and round and round until it's the right length, and then decreases, and boom, there's another hat. So that one I'm definitely going to work on. This one is one that I actually started last night, and I worked on it just a little bit this morning. We got some unexpected news last week. Nothing bad, just something unexpected, and I've been thinking about it a lot and whatnot, and so I was like, you know what, I kind of want to try and cast on and start or work on some projects that are just going to be fun and joyful, and yeah, just to not get into my head too much. And so I started this one. It is going to be a granny stitch shawl. When I got a bunch of the clearance yarn from Hobby Lobby, they had one skein of this particular colorway. This is the prairie grass colorway, and I have been eyeing this for so long. So part of me is a little sad that I didn't buy more skeins of it when I had the opportunity, but there was one skein left, and my thought is I'm going to use up every bit of this, and it's not going to be anywhere near as big as I want the shawl to be. I already know that. But I'm just going to make a granny stitch shawl, and I'm going to make this section as big as I can, and then see if I have anything in my stash that I can add, you know, some more sections onto the bottom of it to make it big enough. That's my plan, is to just kind of super mindless crochet a granny stitch shawl that I can kind of have out here to sometimes in the evenings, even though it's the summertime. I don't know what it is, if it's like the end of the day where you're just like, I feel like I get this like chill almost, and I'm like, man, like something like this to just cozy up in while I'm working on a project or whatnot would be really, really nice. And I've been wanting to make a granny stitch shawl for a very long time. So this is going to be another super fun, mindless project. And then these are kind of 2 more like joyful projects that I'm going to work on. The first one is I finally, yesterday, when I started thinking about casting on projects to distract me from other things, I finally pulled out my project bag here and started my Sofferine top tank t-shirt patterned by Audrey Borrego. Barely got anything, but I finally started it. And so we'll see how far I get on it, but yeah, so far I'm really, really liking the fabric. My gauge is close enough to the patterns, so yeah. Slowly gonna work on that one if and when I feel like it. And then the last one is one that I have not cast on yet, but I think I'm gonna either cast on this afternoon or maybe later today. In my last video, I shared my Knit Picks yarn haul, and one of the yarns was this Barocco Gaia, I have no idea, in the Dawn colorway, and I am planning to just knit another Cloudbreak tee, and so I just want to cast it on. I already have the needles and the pattern and everything because I just finished my my last one, and so I was like, you know what, let's just go ahead and cast on another one. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to mess with the lace at the bottom or not, or if I'm just going to leave that off. I don't know yet. I kind of go back and forth on that, so we shall see. But I want to start it just because I love this yarn so much. And the thing that I realized is I was thinking about, I still have a couple of my 12 cast-ons projects. I have my retroactive pullover and of course my big circle cardigan and then like a cowl. And I was thinking about those and I was like, well, maybe I should work on those because I have been working on my retroactive pullover a fair bit over the last month or so. I just keep picking it up and working on it. But I also realized that like that's not something that I can wear anytime soon. And I would honestly really like to get some of these like warmer weather knits, like the Sofferine, which is out of 100% cotton, and this Daybreak, Cloudbreak, out of this, which is 70% cotton and 30% polyester. I'd kind of rather go ahead and get those done because I might get them done in time to wear them before it gets too cold to wear them. Whereas if it takes me a little bit longer to finish my retroactive pullover, I'm going to have ample time to wear it because it's going to be a fingering weight sweater that I can wear all fall, all winter, everything. So that's kind of my thought process. It's been a little bit of a day today. We had a very busy weekend. We had a birthday party and my sister and her husband stayed with us for a couple of days, which was lovely. It was amazing. But there is something about having like a busy weekend with extra people and going to events and things. It's just a lot. And my husband was on call this weekend and so he was just a lot less present. We had some storms over the weekend and stuff, so he was having to work a good bit more than he normally does when he's on call. So I think we're all just tired. The boys have been very, very fussy today, like just kind of whiny and irritable, and I actually put them down for a nap early and both of them are out asleep. And I'm super, super tired. I don't know if it's the heat wave that's coming in or the boys or what. I'm quite tired, and so I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna eat some sugar-free chocolate chips. I'm gonna edit the last bit of the vlog that hopefully by the time you're watching this is already up on YouTube, and do a little bit of crafting and drink some water and just rest while I can. So yeah, welcome to the vlog. I hope it's a lovely, cozy one. My husband has a work trip this week, so I'm planning to do a lot of sewing. We'll see what we get up to. friends, it has been a couple of days since I sat down and talked to the camera. I think the last time I filmed anything talking was Monday. It is now Wednesday, July 1st, which is super fun. I always like it when it's like the first of the month. Hair in my mouth. I'm so tired. My husband is gone on a work trip until tomorrow evening, and so it's just been solo parenting. My mother-in-law came for a couple of hours yesterday morning, which was super lovely. I was able to get a bunch of sewing done. Still have a fair amount of work to do on the 4th of July outfits if I want to get them done by the 4th, but this is my husband's Friday off, so he's going to get back tomorrow evening, and then he'll have a whole day off, and then we're doing stuff with his side of the family on Saturday for the 4th. So I've still got a couple of days. But yeah, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to calculate out my yarn in and out for June. I need to film my next stash video, but I'm not going to be doing that today because I'm tired and really don't want to mess with gathering all of the yarn. So I'm not going to deal with that. I think I'll probably try and film that video tomorrow during nap time, but I really want to calculate it up and see how much damage was done. I think I did pretty good though, because you know, you can kind of see here, this section here and this section here are all the yarn in, but this section here is all the yarn out. So it's like, I still did pretty good. I don't think I'm still going to be in the negatives for the year, but I think it's going to be better than it could be. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do some knitting, which quickly, let me show you some progress. I have actually finished the next hat that I was working on. I've cast on another one. So I have the very beginnings of another hat going, and this is out of the Brava worsted in the grass colorway. This is like the most beautiful green ever. I love this. This is like, I would absolutely make a sweater out of this. So working on that one slowly. I didn't get too much work on it done. I cast it on yesterday. But I've been really distracted by other projects. So I've been working on, can't remember, did I tell you that I was going to cast on my next Cloudbreak tee? I think I did. I think I mentioned it. I've been working on that. That has been it. I have a feeling that this might be my like new favorite sweater pattern. I just love the construction of it and the fit of it, which, speaking of which, I haven't blocked this, but this is my first Cloudbreak tee that I made. I knit out of the Barocco Splash yarn, and I've been wearing it today because I just didn't want to bother with blocking it. I wanted to see how it worked, and so far I'm loving it. It is so comfortable. It is hot when I'm outside, but that's also because we have like an excessive heat warning happening here in Kentucky at the moment. So it's like mid-90s Fahrenheit. It's very, very hot. So hot. Inside, I am perfectly comfortable, which is great because at least for the next few days, most of my time is going to be inside. So I'm super, super pleased with that. The one thing is I am noticing that this is kind of starting to like stretch a bit, so I think I will probably need to put some elastic thread or something in it to kind of give it a little bit more structure. And I think for my next one, I will pick up a few fewer stitches because since it's a plant fiber, it doesn't have quite the same elasticity, the memory to it that a wool fiber would, but I love it. It is super comfortable. Anyway, I'm in the middle of a row. I'm just about to get started on joining in the round with this, but look at this. Again, I'm not convinced this is going to be the best color for me, but it is bringing me so much joy knitting it at the moment. Like, I just can't get over it. It's so beautiful. And I just I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, I wish I could get Barocco to like sponsor me and send me free yarn, because so far, every single one of their yarns that I've used to knit a project with, I love. And this one, you know, again, it's cotton, so it's not quite as like enjoyable of an experience as knitting with a wool blend, but it is so soft. The color is gorgeous. Like, I'm loving it. And this is Barocco yarn, and I've got Barocco Remix Light that I want to make, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to knit this pattern with that now. I love the construction of it. I love the neckline of it. It's so interesting how it does like all of the increases and stuff. It's just, I really, 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 really like it. So I foresee many more Cloudbreak tea in my future. Cloudbreak sweaters, all of the things. But I'm working on that one. And then I actually, I think it was Monday night. Child interruption. As I was saying, I have already crocheted up the entire skein of this prairie grass yarn. I actually did it in like a day and a half. This is just where there was a knot in the yarn and I need to snip it and weave the ends in. But now I have to try and figure out, kind of worked because while I was back there I was able to pull a couple of acrylic yarns that I've been thinking about. I think this one is going to pair beautifully with that. It's got a similar tone to that. And then I do have this blue tweed yarn that I think would work quite well because there is definitely some light blue in here. But I also have this brown tweed yarn, and so I think it kind of depends upon what color scheme I kind of want to go with. Or do I want to use all three? I don't know if I'll be able to hold. There we go, kind of. The lighting's a little funny, but those are some of the options of more acrylic yarn. I don't know, I feel like the brown and this like peachy orange give one vibe. And if I do the blue and the peachy orange, it gives a different vibe. I don't know if all of them together would work or if it's like clashing too much. I don't know. Anyway, random thoughts. This is just some of the yarn that I got that I was gifted a few months ago. It's some vintage yarn, 100% Orlon, worsted weight, machine washable and dryable. I really think I'm going to use this one with this because it's like the perfect color match just about. So I know I'm going to use that. But if I want to use both the brown and the blue, then I want to separate them because they're both tweed, so I would need to do it in that order. I don't know. I might take a video or some pictures and think about it a little bit. I would love to work on this some more because it was so fast and really mindless. And I very, very much enjoyed it. And I think the way that I'm gonna approach it, I've been going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to try and use every last little bit, or if I wanted to like trim this, there's not much left, but this tail off and start fresh. And I think I'm leaning towards that option. And I would just save these little snippets for some sort of a scrappy project. But I really like it. I think it's going to make a really nice, cozy shawl. So I want to decide what I'm going to do. I think I'm leaning towards more of the like earthy look rather than the blue. Because I think that's kind of the vision I've had in my head, is more of like a cozy, earthy, cottagey type of a look. So I think I'm leaning towards just using these two, and then I will probably need at least one more color. So I'll probably wait until I figure out like that third color, because these are both partial skeins. This one's not very much, so it's probably only going to do like 3 or 4 rows. Anyway. While I was back there, I also went ahead and grabbed my 4th of July dress that I've been working on. it is coming along. I need to put snaps in here, and it has the first tier in there, and then what I'm actually going to sit and do really quick, I think, is gather up my bottom tier and get that all pinned in place, so that then when my boys get up from their nap time and they watch a little bit of Postman Pat or a train video or something, I can quickly run that seam through my sewing machine and then be that much closer to being done with this dress. So, super, super cute fabric. I can't wait to show it to you properly modeled and everything. This is the Shelly dress from Sinclair Patterns. It's a relatively new to me sewing pattern company, but so far I'm really, really liking it. This is the second iteration of this pattern that I have made. The first one I technically just have done the bodice portion of it, but I really like how the instructions are. It's just so beautifully finished on the inside and everything. Like, it just, I love it. I love it so much. It looks so good. So hopefully it fits how I want it to, and it's super comfortable and cute and all of the things. But that is enough of an update for now. I'm gonna sit and maybe watch a video and get my stash numbers calculated up, and then I'm probably gonna dig through my acrylic yarn and see if I've got any other yarn that I can use for that shawl, because I would love to work on that. And it's also a bonus because it's gonna get a good amount of grams of yarn out of my stash, because just that beginning part alone is nearly 150 grams. So but that is the update for now. I'm not sure that I will do any more talking to the camera today, but I will be back tomorrow. Happy Thursday. I have got just a quick little update for you. So, as you have seen from the snippets that I shared, I've actually started frogging my granny stitch shawl, and a couple of reasons for that. One, I had put the brown tweed yarn that I had on, and then I started adding the darker brown acrylic yarn that I had, and I realized that there was such a stark contrast between the vintage acrylic yarn, the brown yarn, versus this yarn and the brown tweed yarn that I had, that it just was kind of irritating, honestly, because it was so, you could tell such a stark difference between the two. Like when you went to grab it, like you could just feel the texture differences between them. And I knew that that was going to irritate me. And then I've not absolutely loved how this looks. You can see these very strong ridges here between each row of granny stitch, and I think that's just because of the thickness of the yarn and everything. I didn't love it. It just looked a little odd. So I was playing around with trying to think about what I could do. The other colors of yarn, they're like orangey peachy color, and then I found like a buttery yellow color that actually would have worked perfectly with this, because if you look closely you can see there are little bits of like creamy yellow in here. Those are both from the vintage yarn stash that I was given, so they are both that older. It's not bad acrylic, it's just compared directly to this acrylic, it feels harsh, crunchy, like just stiff. I hear my baby making noise, so he's probably going to make his way out here. So what I have done is I have started frogging that one. Yeah, he's definitely waking up. A little bit early, but that's okay. And I've started crocheting a new shawl, and I am loving this one so much more. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to do, because I don't think I'm going to have quite enough to make it as big as I want it to, but I'm going to use all of the blue yarn, all of this yarn, and see how far that gets me, and then kind of assess from there. So right now I'm just striping the two of them together. I am loving it so much, and it just looks so pretty. And my plan is I'm going to do 2 more rows of the prairie grass, then 2 more rows of the blue, and then I'm going to switch to 4 rows of the prairie grass, and then 2 rows of blue, 4 rows, and kind of fade into this and try and use up every last bit of the blue that I can. I think they just look so lovely together. But yeah, that's my update for now. He's waking up. We'll see what we get done today. Hello friends, it is Friday. My husband is back from his work trip. He actually has the boys. We had to run a quick little errand, and then he dropped me back off at home, and they are going by Rural King to pick up some honey so we can make some ice cream for tomorrow. And while they are doing that, oh, the AC just kicked on, so hopefully that's not too loud. It is a necessity these days with the heat wave we have going on. While he has the boys, I am going to try and finish up his 4th of July shirt. It is very, very close to being done. I got the buttonholes done earlier today, which that was a whole thing. I have a Juki sewing machine, which I absolutely love. I have a Juki sewing machine and a Juki serger. The downside to that is that I have been unable to find any place that will service them and kind of give them fine-tuning and whatnot. And my sewing machine has been having some attitudes and issues with tension stuff recently, or for a while, but it's just, over time, it's just getting worse and worse. And so when I was doing the buttonholes, it was having all kinds of pitch fits, and kept giving me issues. I think I went through like 4 sewing machine needles because it kept, for whatever reason, like putting a burr on the end of the sewing machine needle, which that's just where it like bends just the very tip of it. It was such a pain. So now I need to go in here, and on this buttonhole, I don't know if you'll be able to see it at all, but down here at the bottom it wouldn't finish off the buttonhole, so I need to hand stitch that and finish that off, and then I need to sew all the buttons on. Overall, I am very, very happy with how this is coming out. It is such a fun shirt, and I'm super glad that my husband mentioned that he would be interested in a patriotic shirt, because otherwise I never would have made one, you know. And it has been really fun to see how fast and easy this has been, and depending on how my husband likes this one, I may make him some more, because in the past, the one that I made him before was made out of like a stretch poplin. So it's a cotton fabric, but it has like just a little bit of stretch in it, which makes it really comfortable. The problem is that it's really tricky to find good guy prints in like a stretch poplin or a stretch cotton. It's really tricky. If he likes this shirt, which is just made out of a quilting cotton fabric, I can make him all the shirts, and it would be really fun. I was kind of talking it over, and I realized that I think that's kind of what I'm going to try. And I love And I want to make stuff for my husband. I just find it really tricky to do so when I'm not convinced he's going to wear it. It just makes it really hard for me to talk myself into making stuff for him. Hence why a lot of the stuff that I've knitted or that I've tried to knit for him has not come to fruition. But if he likes this, I can sew him a shirt in like a week or two. Like, that's not a problem. But, oh, I'm so happy with how this came out. Hopefully he loves it and wants to wear it and can wear it all month because, you know. So, that is what I'm going to work on. I'm actually getting close to trying to finish this vlog. I have a feeling it's like an hour long of a vlog because I've been checking in and chatting so much. But I have found that I actually really enjoy having a nice long video to watch because I break it up into a lot of sections, and I'll watch it while I'm doing the dishes, or I'll watch it while I'm folding laundry, or I'll watch it while I'm knitting, or, you know, whatever. I just split it up, and it's kind of nice to know exactly what I'm going to watch because I have, you know, 30 minutes left of a video to watch. So hopefully that's how it will work out for you guys, and you will enjoy watching it broken up into all the pieces. But yeah, so I am gonna sit and try and get this done. Oh, that looks so good. I got the pocket on. Look at that, look at that. Oh, it's pocket. And then he's got the collar, that's the contrast fabric. The stitching is a little dodgy just because, again, my sewing machine is having tension issues. So it's a little bit meh, but nobody's gonna notice it. If they're getting that up close and personal with my husband, then we've got other problems. Anyway, I'm gonna get working on this and hopefully get these buttons and buttonholes and everything done, or at least a good chunk worked on it before they get back. But I did realize I wanted to quickly mention a couple of things. One, fray check is really good for putting it on the buttonholes. You put it on the buttonholes before you cut them, and then when you cut them, it kind of helps them not like fuzz out and fray quite as much. So I'm going to do that. Well, man, this is some sad looking fray check. This is old stuff. I've had this for so long. The other thing that has been immensely useful that I kind of got on a whim is a buttonhole cutter. So useful, so handy. And it comes with a little apple-shaped cutting board, and you just, so convenient. Highly recommend. I think I got those from Wawak, and again, these are like 10 years old, more than. And I have used them so much, as evidenced by my little apple cutting board. Anyway, I'm gonna get to that, and I will probably check in one more time before I fully finish out this video. We shall see. I'm planning to put this up probably on Monday after the holiday, so I hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking. Alrighty friends, it is Sunday, July 5th, and I'm here to kind of wrap up the video. I thought I would quickly share with you the progress I got done on my crochet shawl and the rest of the plans that I have for it, and the progress that I got done on my new Cloudbreak tee that I've started, because those are pretty much the only projects that I have worked on this week. Like, the crochet shawl kind of took over everything. I just wanted to work on it because I just needed something simple and mindless and really fun to work on. So I thought I would do that here quickly while my husband's watching the kids. We're having a very chill, quiet Sunday. It's just been a week. We had a really lovely 4th of July. We got to hang out with my husband's family. It was super fun, but I'm just feeling it. it was really busy trying to, I was prepping a bunch of food and stuff to take, and just after the week with my husband being gone for half of the week and just all of that, I am feeling it today. So we're just going to have a really quiet, peaceful sort of a Sunday, and just hopefully I can kind of recover and get ready for the week ahead. I did also want to quickly mention I did finish making 4th of July patriotic things for everyone in my family. Well, my husband, our boys, and me. Not anybody else. That was more than enough. So we got some pictures yesterday, but I don't know if we got any that aren't showing faces. We don't show our boys' faces online, and my husband doesn't really like to have his face on the internet. So if I can find some pictures that don't show faces, I'll post them here. I might have a couple that I can kind of crop the heads off. Sounds so violent. But I made my husband's button-up shirt. It was McCall's like 6044 or something like that. That one I got done. It fits really well. My sewing machine definitely threw a hissy fit putting the buttonholes in, and I broke like 4 needles. Well, 2 of them didn't break. They were just getting like a burr on the end where the very point kind of flicks up, and then it just wasn't catching the threads right and stuff. It was just not working. So that was a pain, but I got it done. It looked great. I'm really, really pleased with how it came out, and I'm kind of excited to make him some more like casual button-ups. These are not anything that I would say like look work worthy, just with the print of the fabric and stuff, but maybe on some of the other ones that I do, they will be a little bit more work appropriate, because he definitely does wear the one that I made for him like 4 years ago. He does wear that one to work, so but yeah, it turned out really great. For the boys, I made them matching shorts. I found a free sewing pattern online. I don't remember the name of it. It was something like sycamore shorts or something. I will link it down below. It was just one of those where like you put in your email and you can get the free pattern. I just used the basic shorts piece. I did not use the pocket piece that was included because it was kind of a weird pocket. It was really big and I just didn't think it would work right. So what I ended up doing is I just cut out squares of contrast fabric and just did like patch pockets on the sides. I don't know if they'll ever use them, but I thought it was cute to kind of tie it in, since I was using the matching fabric from my husband's shirt, and then I had like a red striped pocket for my husband's shirt to then do a red striped pockets on the boys' shorts. For my dress, I did the Shelley dress by Sinclair Patterns. It is alright. I am not 100% happy with it. I found that when I finished it, the armholes were gaping really badly, and so I ended up, and like the back of the neck was kind of funky, so what I ended up doing is basically pinching out some and then kind of folding it over and then stitching around it. But then what that ended up doing, oh, and I also had to take the side seams in significantly. What that ended up doing was that it kind of cuts into my arm, or I don't know what this part, like chest, whatever this is right here. It cuts into there pretty uncomfortably. It's not the most pleasant thing to wear. So I will either have to let back some of that fabric back out right over the armhole. Because the problem that I was running into is that it was low enough down that it was showing my bra. I wear a pretty, I don't know if you want to call it a fairly modest bra, so that comes up fairly high, and so if anything is a slightly too deep armhole, it shows my bra, and it just didn't look very good. And so when I took the side seams in, that helped, but then when I pinched it up, that kind of covered everything that I wanted covered. So I think the reason why it did that, because overall everything else about the bodice fit really great. I think what it is that I wouldn't have had a problem with it if it had had sleeves. Because it didn't have sleeves, I needed to take out that excess to make it fit my modesty standards. I don't know, it wasn't immodest, it just didn't look good. And so I think if it had sleeves, it wouldn't cut in there because I could leave that excess of the armhole out, and the sleeves would come down and cover any bra or anything like that. So I am curious to make another version, but do the sleeved version, like a short sleeve version. And we'll see. The neckline was kind of gaping a little bit, but I often run into that with sewing stuff. It's just something about my chest area, my clavicle, whatever you want to call it, that in order to accommodate my full bust, I often end up with excess fabric here. And I've done a few things in the past to tweak that, but I think I've gotten spoiled because the other dresses that I've been making have elastic on them, and so I don't have to worry about that. But we'll see. I really do want to try and see if I can make this pattern work, because it does seem to be a really lovely classic type of a pattern. I will say, before I forget, the only thing I used from the Shelley dress pattern was the bodice. I about 99% of the time will go rogue with the skirt. I just don't want to mess with printing out a skirt pattern and taping it together, so I just use like a rectangle gathered skirt sort of a thing, and I did a tiered one for mine. So that's the sewing that I ended up doing. Let's get into the crocheting and knitting. I have gotten so much work done on this, and it has been so much fun. I think the last time that I shared it with you, I had mentioned that I was planning to start doing wider stripes of the multicolor prairie grass yarn and fade out the blue. However, I was looking at it, and I looked at it, and the blue yarn that I have is a Windy with Wool Aran tweed, and so it's like mostly acrylic with a little bit of wool in it, and the yardage was going way further than I expected it to. So I had done one section of doing 4 rows of the prairie grass and then 2 rows, and I was like, I just didn't like how it looked. So I ripped that out. The number of times I've ripped out on this thing. I ripped that out and instead just continued the 2 and 2 all the way down, and then I ran out of my, well, I didn't completely run out, as you can see. I did not have enough blue to finish a whole other row, so I just put in this brown tweed, which is a scrap of the big twist tweed that I had in my stash, and so I did my second row with that one, and then I was able to do 2 complete rows with this, and then I was on the next section of doing 2 rows of the prairie grass when I ran out. It's actually really funny. I ran out like right at the halfway point, like literally. And so I'm not 100% sure I love what I did, but I like the yarn usage of what I did. So I just stopped at that halfway point, and then I went back and did the other half of it to finish up that section in the brown. So you've got a single row of prairie grass, single row of brown. Now, I love this. This is looking great. It is not big enough for what I want it to be. So I was thinking and thinking and thinking, because pretty much all the acrylic yarn that I have is that like harsher, older acrylic that has a really significant not texture, feel to it, softness, than this, and I didn't want to combine the two. And I was thinking and thinking and trying to figure out what I could do, and I was like, well, I guess I could go back to Hobby Lobby and get another skein of I Love This Yarn in some color and do a nice wide strip of one more color. And then I was, well, because I was like, I don't really want to do that. I want to use stash. Like, I really want to use stash. I remembered that I had these 3 balls of Kramer Perfection worsted, which is a 30% wool and 70% acrylic. And I had gotten these to make some sort of animal toys for my boys, but I have since realized that my boys don't really play with stuffed animals that much, and they have a lot already. And if I made the stuffed animals, it was more for my love of the cuteness of them rather than they would actually be played with. So, I have decided that I'm not going to make the stuffed animal that I was planning to make. Maybe I'll make it more in the future if we have more kids and stuff, but for right now, they have more than enough, and they hardly touch the ones we have. So, I have these 3 yarns, and I was thinking that I could use these 2 in my shawl, and start with the creamy beige, which is sand, and do this one next to separate the browns, because this is a very different color of brown. I love this color of brown. This is copper. It's so pretty. This is like my favorite color of brown, where it's got that almost like russety autumn feel to it. I love it. So my thinking is this will kind of go with the prairie grass with like the neutral tan. I can do a nice big section of this, and then when I run out of this, I'm assuming it's not going to be big enough yet, and so I will do another section in this. That is my plan. And then I will have this nice gray yarn that I can use for a hat or a cowl or something. Like, it'll be fine. So, excuse me, that is that project. Really, really loving it. It has been just the perfect mindless thing. And then I've also been making a fair amount of progress. Well, I say fair amount. I've made some progress. I have joined in the round now on my Cloudbreak team. I just love this yarn so much. It's so beautiful. I've been really enjoying kind of picking this up, working on it a little bit here and there. I was really thinking about trying to push myself to get it done in time that I could enter it into the summer tea knit along that Devin from Knitting McPurley hosted. But that is done in like 2 weeks. The one thing that I find a little bit difficult about participating in Devin's knit-alongs is that she does a pretty short turnaround, at least for me. I think this one was about 6 weeks, and it started at the beginning of June. For me and my knitting habits and my lifestyle, that's just not enough time. I love knit-alongs where they're 2 to 3 months long. That just works better for me. That extra like 2 to 6 weeks. So I was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, honestly, there's no reason to rush and push. Like, I'm not going to win any prize, and even if I did, do I really need more yarn? No. So I think I'm just going to enjoy the process of knitting and not put that pressure on myself. Because honestly, this thing is so beautiful. And the one thing that I did have the thought where I was like, you know, I bet this is going to be a little bit heavier because it's a higher cotton content than this. So I was like, man, I really would love it if I could make it with long sleeves. I don't have enough yarn for that. So my other thought was like, well, maybe I can try and knit on it and get a good chunk of it done before, I think it's July like 24th is when the big sale at Knit Picks and We Crochet are done. And if I get far enough along on this and decide that I do want to order some more yarn to make the sleeves longer, then I could do that, you know, before all this good sales end. So we will see. I'm really hesitant to make any more yarn orders, but okay, I'm back. Slight outfit change. We went for a walk, and so I just put on a regular t-shirt instead of my Cloudbreak tee because it's been so hot. And I didn't want to risk getting my Cloudbreak tee all like sweaty while we were walking, and I intended to change back and just happened. And when I was filming, my husband and the boys came inside, so I had to pause. And then we've had some lunch, and I took a little nap. That was the other thing. When we got back from my in-laws' house last night, the thunderstorms had knocked out the power, and so we got back to a house that had no power, and so I was up quite a bit later than I normally am with my 3-year-old because he is not a fan of fireworks and loud noises and whatnot, and so he was just a little bit on edge, and then also coming home to a dark house right like past his bedtime, because we stayed at my in-laws house a little bit later because it was a holiday and everything, and so to get back late and have it be a dark house and fireworks and all the thing, so we were up quite late with him, and then the 1-year-old got up in the night and then also woke up as his normal like a 5 a.m. time frame, so but I've had a little nap. I'm feeling better, and they're having their nap time, so I'm just gonna cozy up and watch some vlogs and just enjoy a little bit of peace and quiet. But anyway, what I was saying before is that I'm really hoping to not have to make another yarn purchase, but I'm planning to kind of try and see with this second Cloudbreak tee that I'm making, see how far the 6 balls of this Barocco Gaia, I have no idea, This is the first ball, and so I'm probably halfway through that. And they come in 50-gram balls, I believe. Yeah, 50 grams, 140 yards per ball. And just a reminder, this is the colorway Dawn. Absolutely love it. It is just gorgeous, and I really like that in some spots it's all a 100% recycled fiber, which I'm learning that I really enjoy. Because in some spots it's almost like tweed, because there'll be thicker blips. So there's like a blue one, what was it, there's a yellow one down here where it like pops out. I really love it. If I end up ordering a couple more balls of this to make this a long sleeve top, I will probably get another sweater's quantity worth of another colorway of this yarn, just because I really like it. I feel like I'm starting to figure out what sort of plant fiber type yarns I really enjoy working with. I would love to get more of the Barocco Splash, but they've sold out of pretty much all of the colorways that I would be interested in, so I probably won't mess with that. And besides, I have another sweater's quantity worth of the same colorway. It's like Maui or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I have another sweater's quantity, so I will have plenty more to make another top of some kind. But yeah, I think that's where we're going to end it this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I've really been enjoying filming it. I know that this is going to be a quite lengthy vlog, but I don't know, I've been really enjoying watching longer vlog type videos, and it has been really lovely. I think I mentioned this before in here, I break them up into several watching sessions, and it's been lovely. I really enjoy it, and so hopefully that's something that you guys enjoy watching, because yeah, it's just been a lot of fun to do that, to film it. It's going to take a while to edit it, but hopefully I will have this up tomorrow. And then this next week for the next few weeks I am kind of hoping to be able to do a couple Tour de Fleece vlogs where I kind of check in and do, I'm kind of hoping like 10-minute type vlogs of my spinning, just because I do really want to share that, and I think it would be a lot of fun to talk about it more. So I have my spindle out here, and I'm probably going to start filming that as soon as I finish this. But yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. I hope you had a really lovely holiday weekend. I'd love to know what projects you're working on, and what are some things that you're working on this summer, and what are you hoping to work on, and are you working on more warmer weather knits or like transition knits, or are you still working on like full-on sweaters? I would love to hear that. I've actually been kind of dreaming of knitting another ranunculus, at least one more, maybe a couple. We shall see. Just with how successful my owl ranunculus was earlier this year, I really want to make another one. Not another owl one, but another ranunculus. So yeah, I think that's all I've got, and yeah, I hope you're all well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!